Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening with me, Yorkshire Kris, and in this week's episode we're going to compare and contrast the different types of foliage plants that have overwintered, see which ones are better and which ones have really struggled to get through winter. So you join me in the greenhouse where it's above 20 degrees, nice and warm in here, and these temperatures have allowed plants to start getting back into growth after quite a dismal, sort of dark winter. So let's have a look how the plants have fared and which ones have done better than others. So just to remind you of my setup, I have got at the back here, along the back on a bench, we've got a big box of sand with a heating element which keeps the sand about 15 to 18 degrees and it keeps that temperature all winter. The air temperature at its coldest is about 6 to 8 degrees at this end, closest to the camera, but where I am, much further away from the fan, it will easily drop down to 4 or 5 degrees. So the plants that grow in here have to cope with those temperatures. And a lot of them are very tender and actually need above 15 degrees. But by tricking the plants a bit, by keeping the roots warm over winter, it's allowed the foliage to get through winter as well. So I've not had to heat the air too much, I've just heated the roots. So let's have a look at a few different plants. I've actually brought out a few of them from the heated box just onto the staging in front of the camera here, so we can have a closer look and compare the different plants. And the types we're looking at, we have got Iracine, Plectranthus, Coleus or Solenstomum, and Partytime Atlahara down there as well. So let's look at the differences now. And we can see quite stark differences between the different types. So first off here, we've got various types of Iracine, and these are nice sturdy plants now. You can see the beautiful pink coloration in this one here, and if we look at this one here at its own pot, and you can see it's grown a lot over winter, and it's a nice sturdy plant. Same again here. This one's got a bit taller, needs a bit of a water, but you can see good healthy growth from that. No dieback, really trying to grow. We've got some smaller ones here as well. You can see not all of them are super big, so this one is smaller, but it's healthy. Lots of new growth on there, and I can take cuttings from these, so I can get even more plants. So that's the Iracine. So the various different types have grown really well over winter and into spring. Then you can contrast this with the Coleus or Solenstomum, which overall have struggled with the temperatures we've had in the greenhouse. And you can see they've made it through on the whole, but growth isn't as strong. This one's okay, but you can see some others have really struggled. There's only a little bit of growth on that one, quite a lot of dieback. Certain types have fared better, so we've got these in the centre here, and they've grown pretty well over winter and started flowering, which I've been pinching out. And we've got the henna type over here, which has had mixed fortunes, but overall, they've got through winter okay. But compare these here to the size of the Iracine, which are all similar size sort of cuttings over winter. You can see that the Plectranthus, you can see that the Iracine over here has grown much better than the Solenstomum over here. And in fact, I lost about half these. So half of the plants didn't get through. So I've kept the ones that've got a bit of life in. This is the worst one. And these are the best ones here. And they've got through, like I said, okay, but they're not super, super strong plants. And like I said, I lost probably a third to a half of these plants over winter when it kept at about 6 to 8 degrees in the greenhouse with bottom heat keeping them at the bottom temperature about 18 degrees at the root level, compared to, like I said, just to contrast again with the Iracine, much healthier, stronger plants. And then down the bench here, I've just got out a few of the Partytimes, and these have grown okay over winter. These don't need a lot of water. And you can see the cuttings have actually done pretty well, and they've grown over winter quite a lot. This one here, in fact, is a big plant now. It's got good coloration, and green flies have affected all these plants a little bit, but pretty much on top of it now. And these have grown really well. And if we compare those to the mother plants, so if we just go back down to the hot box, the mother plants I actually dug up and took those cuttings from look straggly and not very happy at all. But they are older plants, they're over a year old now. So these aren't as vigorous, but I'll be able to take more cuttings off here and start more plants into growth in the propagator. They'll root, and then it won't be long before they're good healthy plants like these over there. Now the fourth different type of colourful foliage plant I want to talk about is this one here. This is a plectranthus. This is a nice cutting that we've got, and you can see it's got lots of nice growth on it, very vigorous, lots of side shoots, and it's not the only one. So if we look over here, we've got other ones. Got the toilet roll plant here, very vigorous. Got the Argentinus type here, the silver leaf one, and we've got some down here. I really struggled in terms of, I've not watered these enough, and you can see they're still alive. They're all in small pots like this, and they've got decent growth on them all, and they're desperate to be potted up and more cuttings to be taken from these plants. Very, very easy to look after over winter. And there's another one in the corner, huge specimen there. So they overwinter really well at cooler temperatures compared to the Coleus or Solenstomum. So in order, I would say the Plectranthus are the easiest to overwinter. Then probably the Ericenes down here, the Party Times over there, and then finally the Coleus or Solenstomums that really want to be warmer, so ideally above 15 degrees to be nice and healthy, so more like a houseplant in winter. But you can see some have got through fine, and that is with keeping the bottom heat at root level nice and warm, even if the air temperatures drop down to low mid single figures. Got some other plants that I'll show you as well. So I hope you've seen with me that there's some stark differences between the growth of these tender bedding plants, really these foliage plants, over winter into spring. Some have struggled, like the Coleus, and some have absolutely thrived, like the Plectranthus, that burst into growth and really need potting up and more cuttings being made. And this is a great way, if you have some cuttings, you can do them on a windowsill very easily in water in autumn into winter. You can pot them up, keep them somewhere warm over winter, and then take cuttings from the cuttings at this time of year to really bulk up your supplies. And I'm really pleased with how these have come through winter, because overall, yes, I've lost a few of the Solenstomum, but overall they've come through really, really well. And I'm going to be taking more cuttings now, and I'll be able to bulk up my supplies for great summer display in the garden later on in the year. Now there's other plants I've been keeping over winter in the heated hot box at the back. We've got things like the Persian shield, which has actually been trying to flower, and this has got plenty of new growth coming here now. It's a beautiful purple sheen to the leaves. We've got some big specimens like that. We've got some smaller ones as well. I've also got my seed trays in here now because I've got some space, and we've got the edible banana. We've got the Musa acuminata grand nain at the back here, and that, surprisingly, to some people anyway, has got through the winter. So I carefully get this out, and we have a look at that plant. We've got a nice edible banana thriving in my greenhouse, and hopefully this will do well this summer. So thank you for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening with me, Dr. Kris. Join me next week. We'll be doing more in the garden.